Hey everyone, this is Bob George, head of products at dealer.com. Here to talk to you today about how we're thinking about breaking down this online to in-store divide that's existed for quite some time in our industry. And so if you think about it, for years, dealers, technology partners, providers in this space have been working to try to build these bridges, right? You think about the online experience is over here, the in-store experience is over here, and the only way to really put them together is to essentially build a bridge between the two. And so in 2020, what we saw happen, of course, is that experience changed pretty significantly. I don't think I need to go into too much detail there. We all lived through it. And it really forced the question of, well, why are there separate experiences still between online and in-store? Why are we forcing this kind of integration of disparate feature experiences? Why aren't we putting it all together? And from those questions and from that kind of self-reflection that we did at Coxs Automotive, working with you guys and our partners, this is where we came up with this retailing everywhere concept. And that's really this singular experience powered by advanced communication. And that's the really important piece here is we have to try to replicate some of those in-store and in-person experiences that still work really well and be mindful of just kind of wherever the consumer's at in their journey. And so what we'll do is we'll break down this retailing everywhere concept in some of the key components. So key areas I want to focus on, I'll just highlight these quickly and then we're going to go into them. And I encourage you to check out some of the demos throughout this event. You'll see a lot of this product in action. This presentation is really about just putting it all together. So focusing on how we understand consumer behavior, what we do with that from an advertising and marketing experience, how we drive this kind of guided shopping experience through to the deal completion through a variety of mechanisms and ultimately into an actual ownership experience in the future. So let's get started. So if you take a look, and this slide is meant to be pretty illustrative, we won't go into every bit of detail. So when we think as Coxs Automotive about executing on this vision, we look at the toolkit that we have in front of us and we realize you go all the way back to the beginning where we understand who the consumer is and their behaviors on AutoTrader and Kelly and dealer.com, through to deal creation, through to deal signing, and ultimately through to the delivery and ownership type capabilities. We have the whole portfolio in front of us. And now our job is to kind of execute throughout with you all as our customer. And so one of the primary kind of underpinnings of all this is our Coxs Automotive data and insights. And when we think as a product organization about product development, this is usually our first stop. What can we ascertain and understand about consumer behavior? And let's define our product and our experiences and our capabilities accordingly. Because if I can understand where the consumer is in their process, I can provide a more relevant message to them or a more relevant next step or a more relevant offer accordingly. And so I think we all kind of know how disjointed things can be in this industry of everyone trying to execute on a variety of signals. The reality is in each moment, there's the right next step to take. And this is where the power of Coxs Automotive data comes into play to give us the intelligence to say, at this moment, you should say this to the customer. At this moment, you should say this to the customer. So on that note, think about first, how do we turn anonymous pixels into known consumers driving lifetime value? Again, I don't want to just talk about data and audience and that sort of thing. I want to turn that into people who you interact with in one-to-one and who keep coming back over and over to your business. And so one of the primary channels that we're doing this year and launching this at NADA, we've been piloting it quite a bit, is our new connected television product. And so this is, you think about where people are where your eyeballs are today, right? And more it's kind of people cutting the cord and using a variety of services to get to quote television just in a digital fashion. And so connected TV brings your dealership to life. Solid performance we've seen. And we know too that, our differentiator here, it isn't just that we can do it, but again, we take that Coxs Automotive audience data, turn it into meaningful next steps. And now we're placing an ad in front of the right person. And two people may be watching the same programming, see two completely different ads because of intent. So very different from kind of traditional television where it's one ad and a placement or whatever, but we're seeing dealers replace traditional ad dollars with connected TV and the performance is there. The other side we're looking at is your email marketing and text marketing and direct mail marketing side, where, again, you think about as a consumer, there's a variety of ways I get communicated to by a dealer, whether it's marketing tools or CRM or a variety of, auto responders, that sort of thing. The reality is they're all kind of disjointed, providing different messages. And so one of the things we're working on this year is putting them all together into kind of one marketing platform where we're able to communicate. Again, go back to why communication is so important here. You set of consumers, I'm a dealer, I'm trying to talk to them, I'm trying to converse, I'm trying to do the thing that works really well inside the store when you sit down and look eye to eye and sit across from each other at the desk. And it's difficult to do with technology, but again, we use our proprietary intelligence to understand what's the next best thing we can say to this consumer to get them closer to the deal, get them closer to the sale, get them closer to service. Okay, so let's pretend that we've done a great job of moving everybody through from an advertising and marketing standpoint. We've got them on our website or one of our properties. Now the job is, okay, we've got them. How do we then guide them? Because again, imagine somebody walks into your store, you've just got them there. But now what's the experience inside the store? We're thinking about the same. What's the experience inside your digital storefront? What happens on the website next? So some key areas to think about, and this is something we've been in market with for a while, is our experience optimization personalization product. Again, use the power of Coxs Automotive data, a lot of our integrations with our brother and sister brands, we'll say, and we turn this into, again, meaningful information on the site. Not everybody's going to see the same message, really tailored to what you're after and the intent you've shown. It doesn't end there, though, and this is where we jump into what we're calling personalized landing pages, where you think about, I can show you some personalization, I can show you a banner, I can show you an offer, but the reality is if I get a marketing email that's tailored toward me that says, here's your offer, we know about your vehicle of interest, and I click on the website, what often will happen is it'll land me back on a listings page or maybe a vehicle details page or maybe a contact us page. So what we've done this year, and you'll see this as part of the NADA preview, is actually landing consumers on a personalized page for them, same offer that they saw in the email, and they can pick right up where they left off. And so a big theme you'll see is the continuity across the quote in-store products, your CRM and others, which really are just used everywhere as operational tools to get deals started and finish deals, all the way up to the digital properties, reflecting that same experience. Next piece we're working on, and this will come later in the year, is more guided shopping, we'll say. And so again, think about a great in-store experience. I walk in the store, I say, I think I'm interested in this, but I'm not really sure. Salesperson says, hey, come on over here. Let me show you two others like it. And you might actually be interested in this car. We haven't really talked about it yet, but it actually fits a lot of what you're after. And so those kind of moments of discovery, those really personal interactions where suddenly we're off the website, we're off the dealership, we're just talking as individuals and trying to match the right vehicle to my needs. That's what we need to replicate online. So the dealer has those tools to be able to do that really from anywhere. Again, retailing everywhere. Okay, so we found you the right car. We've landed you on the site, like I said. Now we need to help you navigate this retail experience. And so this year we launched an entirely new user experience for our digital retailing product. Very UX, backed in terms of consumer first. A lot of good results we've seen. We've been piloting it for the last few months and bringing it to market in full here this spring. A lot of the same kind of rules of thumb that we did previously, but really enhanced in more of a kind of self-directed. Think of TurboTax as a great analogy where, taxes are not an easy endeavor, let's say, but TurboTax has figured out how to break it up into really discrete steps and make it simple. And so we followed suit there and have designed the interface accordingly. Of course, we still have some of the same, interactions with brands like KBB backing everything. So you'll see, throughout the process, we still have those sorts of integrations and a lot of kind of what we built over the years is the plumbing there. Now we've just really elevated the front end. The other thing we've done here, and this is something we launched earlier in the year, is essentially one-to-one communication within the retailing experience. So you think about it, I'm rolling along, I'm doing okay, and I kind of get stuck. Right? And I'm not sure what to do. And this is a point where I might pick up the phone, or if I'm in the dealership, I sit down and say, hey, can someone help me? I'm not quite sure. So we essentially made an easy button on the website where somebody could push a button and say, I just want to talk to somebody. And even better, again, go back to the tax software analogy where I'm not sure myself. We actually allow people, the dealer, to take control of your screen and kind of walk you through the deal within the retailing application. Hey, you're not sure of your financing or your trade or whatever. And so again, meant to be a very collaborative experience where you're looking at the same thing and you're kind of walking through and building out a deal together. Because you think about it as a consumer, the ownership that then that creates, where suddenly you feel like, yeah, I'm part of this creation of the deal. I'm not just the one who's getting, information sent to me and having to react to it. And so that's a big thing this year. Coming in for NADA, you'll also see things like credit decisioning and secure doc upload, that sort of thing. And so more and more, we're just moving more of these pieces to the digital experience. So again, it can be executed side by side, dealer and consumer, get one deal done together. So we've been working through the deal online. Now, how do we turn it into a transaction, right? Because it's one thing to agree to a number and agree to a payment, agree to a price. How do you actually transact it now? And the next slide here, this is one of the most important slides in the presentation. You might say, okay, well, that all sounded pretty good kind of heading forward, but let me kind of walk you through here. So if you think about the retailing process, and we've talked to a lot of dealers over the past year where, they say, look, we're doing things remote, but honestly, my showrooms are full again. And people are just taking caution, when they come in, and they still want to come and see the car. But some people want to do it online. It's really kind of varied, And so what we recognize here is there's no kind of one size fits all for how someone wants to start a deal. Sometimes it's very self-directed. Sometimes it needs to be very guided. And so what we've done here is, rather than having the CRM and the website have kind of unique deal starting and creation processes, make it one. And so now as a dealer, I can create a deal inside my CRM and I can send it to the consumer, and vice versa. The consumer can create a deal online and then send it into the CRM. And so we have this kind of bi-directional flow of deal origination, call it, which again is very much like kind of a good in-store process. Hey, you might be interested in this new vehicle. Yeah, no, I think we can get you a good payment. I'll tell you what, let me shoot you over a few deals to look at, a few prices and payments, and we can go from there, right? So why make the consumer go through all the labor when the dealer can originate a conversation and then the consumer can kind of volley back and forth? And so we've really, we've spent a lot of time focusing on this because we see it as such an important piece of truly executing on this retailing everywhere experience, is letting the dealer be the jump off and kickoff point, and especially go back to the marketing tools where suddenly I know someone's in equity, I know what their trade-in is, I know, what vehicle they're showing intent in. Now I can package up a deal and send it to them to start. And so as a consumer, I'm so much more empowered when I have something to react to. Everybody wants something to react to before making a decision. Send me a couple options and then let me choose. From there, we start moving into remote document execution. Again, this is really important because, great, we've agreed on the price, we've agreed on the payment, but we actually need to author and execute this thing now. And so with our interaction with Dealertrack's Unified product, we're actually able to upload documents now in the interface, send them over to Unify where they can be executed through the digital contracting. So again, giving options can be done in the store, can be done remotely, can be done through a variety of mechanisms. But the reality is I want to get agreement here. Yep, I'm good. Now I want to sign. I'm ready. That shouldn't mean, okay, now drop everything and start over and come in. And so again, trying to smooth out every moment in this process, but again, not go too hard in one direction, right? Give flexibility to the consumer and to the dealer to meet where they want essentially in the process and execute accordingly. Eventually what we find here is kind of the next step in all this is, okay, I bought the car, we've agreed to it, but that doesn't have to be the end of the transaction. Some people might say, hey, I need the thing delivered. Okay, we have options there. Or we might say, look, what are some of the F&I products we could offer, extended warranties and service and that sort of thing. And so there's a real opportunity post-sale to keep engaging for profitable transactions. And really that's what we're trying to do is, how do we turn every positive interaction, or every interaction for that matter, into a positive experience, driving profitability over and over and over? Because again, you've got the customer right there, you've engaged them properly, you've worked through the deal with them. it doesn't mean, okay, we'll see in 5 years. It should be an ongoing. If we do this right, the consumer always thinks of the dealer first for their automotive needs and then comes back over and over and over. And so speaking of coming back and how to solicit that, one of the tools we've looked at here is, what is your best kind of mechanism to increase your reputation and kind of brand credibility? And it's what your customers say about you. We use this all the time in our kind of day-to-day lives. And so what we found really critical here is, again, the deal's complete, the vehicle's delivered, maybe even the first service is behind us. Now, again, go back to that marketing platform. Now it's time to go out and say, hey, we really appreciate you being our customer. We'd love it if you left a review for us and told us all about it. And so we want to make sure that, with our new kind of review generation and solicitation capability, we make it really easy for dealers to go get it and really simple for a customer to leave the review. Because the important thing is, it's like this cycle of, now I leave the review, it creates SEO content on my website and in Google My Business, because Google loves these organically created pieces of content by real consumers that then are on behalf of the dealer. And the next time I, as a consumer, go look and say, hey, I'm interested, and I start searching for dealers near me, suddenly I see those reviews by quote, people like me, right? And so it's this nice kind of moment of closing out the transaction where you're opening up new ones for other folks. Finally, where this all wraps is into what we can now call ownership everywhere, where you think about, I talked a little bit about the dealer being the first point of thought for every automotive need. I'm driving this car and I have some sort of need, whether it's related to service or sales, or, I'm just not really sure if it's the right match for me. I heard they're doing subscription cars. Maybe I want an electric car. I'm not really sure, right? And so how do we turn the dealership, into the consultant for the consumer, right? And consultative relationships over the course of time. So it's not just, again, about a sale and then service and then a sale and then service, but really about this kind of lifetime value of, I always think of the dealer as first, the dealer is my consultant. And again, where Coxs Automotive comes into play is it really can give the dealer the right sort of buying signals, right? Because the last thing a consumer wants is to be communicated to over and over and over when it's the wrong time. But what you really want is, maybe even before you recognize a need, or as you're kind of walking into knowing there's a need there from an automotive standpoint, that you get a little ping that says, hey, we're here to help, or hey, we haven't heard from you in a while, or hey, did you know that the truck you're driving, we're paying a lot of money for. Those things are holding value really well. The used car market, such, we'd love to take a look and see if you're interested in something new. And so our job is, with all of these tools and all these capabilities, to underpin it with the right insights. So at the right moment, we're sending that signal out to the consumer and saying, hey, just come check us out. Because if we do that right, and we don't bombard them, but we also don't ignore them, give them that right moment, look for a buying signal like they've moved or they have a new family member, that sort of thing, and just throw out a little ping. Suddenly you get back, and especially if you include a dealer too, suddenly you get back a lot of response that says, well, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'd love that. And so again, one of the big problems we look to solve with all of this is there's so many products in our marketplace that are trying to solve pieces of this, and it results in a fairly disjointed consumer experience where they're just feeling overwhelmed over and over and over. And one of the best quotes I've ever heard related to retailing, someone said, hey, what's the best digital retailing product on the market? And I don't remember who it was, but the dealer said, it's just the one that you're using in your store. And it was this real kind of eye-opening moment for us, especially folks like me who are in product development, where you can drive all the features you want, but the reality is the actual usage by the dealer matching an in-store sales process that exists, or at least augmenting it or evolving it, is the real key to getting this retailing experience out there and used by the masses. And so with that, I really encourage you to sign up for a dealer.com demo and, think through, look at other Coxs Automotive brands too, because the reality is it really is about putting the portfolio together and turning these kind of disjointed experiences into one singular experience for dealers and for your customers to drive simplicity, ease of use, and ultimately a really simple car buying experience. Thank you.